All right, welcome back to another episode of Never Too Old Garage. Since we last left, I was able to take off all of the remaining pieces. I need to get the spindles off. I'll do that later today, but I went and we flipped it over because we want to basically get the bottom side ready for paint. I've got paint coming this week. I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum 2-in-1, which is a rubberized sealer. It's actually made, in the picture it shows the bottom of the floor pans of a car. So we got that on order coming from Amazon, but I want to get it down to bare metal. So I started using these paint remover discs. And I just picked up a bigger compressor. If I'm going to start doing more with pneumatic tools, I needed more pressure, so got a bigger compressor. But so far, just doing a couple spots, it works really well. It looks like it's going to take off even some rusty areas. So we're going to use these paint strippers to get this down. The goal today is to get this down to bare metal, take off the two spindles here so that I can repack those and just get it basically down to nothing but metal, nothing peripheral, so that we can get it ready for paint. So that's what I'll be doing today. Okay, so yesterday we were able to get a lot of the old paint off, and I'm going to show you kind of where we are today. I'm going to finish out getting the rest of the paint off, but I'm going to show you what worked the best. So what I found is that depending on what you're doing, it's either going to be one of the paint remover discs or a wire brush. So let me kind of show you where we are. I'm pretty stoked with how well it went. So as you can see here, we were able to get it really down to bare metal. These corners here, I got to knock off with a wire brush. We do have a few rust pocks, little rust holes. And what I'm going to do for those is instead of cutting a whole piece out, the metal's pretty thick, so I think we're pretty good. But instead of cutting those, I'm going to actually lead pieces in. So again, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is to learn how, and I figure this will be an opportunity to do some leading or tinning, as they call it. So I'll get those closed up. There's actually, it's pretty thick underneath. It doesn't go all the way through. So as you can kind of see here, so just filling these with some good strong tin and then finishing it off, sanding it down, it should look good. And then as you can see, working our way back, I still got a few little spots I need to knock off, but for the most part, I've got a little bit of rust here. That'll probably just with the rust reformer cure up nicely, but I've got to finish back here, and then of course these pieces here I need to finish up. So it's getting there. It's definitely a lot of work. What I found is that these discs here are really the best for knocking off the paint. They really do a great job. But as you can tell, it doesn't get into corners very well. So then what I do is I come over to my wire brushes here. I got one on my drill here. Here's another one. You got different lengths and thicknesses, really thin ones like this one, where you can get into small nooks and crannies. So we'll continue to use those to get into those trouble spots. But between these here, and I bought these off of Amazon, they were real cheap. These things are just, they work really, really well. As you know, I speak highly of Harbor Freight, and I bought these from Harbor Freight here. But these, as you can see, they're not very thick. So I think for, thin pieces, it's probably pretty good, but these lasted a lot longer. As you can see, they're very, very thick. I can get through, to do the entire chassis, I burned through 2 of these, and I got a whole bag. I think the whole bag cost me like $4. So, these should be fine, hopefully for the rest of the project in terms of knocking off paint. So anyway, with that, we're going to, as I mentioned, I'm going to continue working, knock off all the rest of the paint today. And then I've got some of the Rust Reformer 2-in-1. It's a Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer 2-in-1, which will not only, at this point, we won't have much rust, but it'll obviously lay over any rust, and then it'll rubberize it. It's a rubberized coating. So that should really get it to where it probably be better than it ever was in terms of, for the future. I do have a little bit of rust inside the tube, and I wanted to get that as well. And I was doing some research today, and there's a product, I'll show it when I go get it, that actually is a little bit better than Rust Reformer. So I've used Rust Reformer. It helps to kind of, stop the rust. It penetrates down. But this other product was highly recommended and it's a liquid, and it'll convert the rust back, or basically get it down to the metal. And it'll keep it, it'll seal it as well, so it won't grow anymore. So I'm going to get some of that for the inside of the tube, inside here, and I'll, as you can see, I've got openings here and then also at the back when you flip it over. And I'll probably just get a little extension with a a pole, and just kind of roll it, one of those little 2-inch rollers, and just roll it as much as I can, get as much down that as I can, both on the bottom and the tops, and then that'll hopefully seal that so that we don't have any more issues going forward. So looking forward to getting that done, but for now I'm going to go ahead and get all set up and continue working on getting the rest of this paint knocked off, and hopefully get this to paint later this week. Okay, so we've finished for today. We've got pretty much a good finish down to bare metal. In most places, I still have a little bit more to do around here. But one of the things I was able to do is I'm going to adjust the ride height, and so I was able to unbolt here this piece and this piece, and then push this piece down. And it clears. I've already tried, but then this piece will pop off and you can rotate it, and that'll allow me to drop it. I want to drop it about 2 inches in the back, and then I'm going to order a new front steering beam that's going to drop it 2 inches in the front. So anyway, while we've got it off, I'm going to go ahead and in the next episode I'll take that piece off the spindle or off the spline, rotate it. One click, they say, is about 2.5 inches. So one click, actually this way, because I got to think of how it is. But anyway, one click will drop it 2.5 inches. So I'll get that piece done. A little bit more cleanup work. And then I can go ahead and do the bottom side of the chassis. After we get the bottom side with the 2-in-1, we're going to use the Rust-Oleum 2-in-1, which is a rubberized sealer. So we'll do the bottom in that. We'll do the bottom floor pans, which I have over there. When we get we'll get the floor pans on the bottom rubberized so that they're already done, and then I'll flip it and weld it. I may have to touch up, the welding might be a little hot. I may have to touch up some places, but I'd rather get it rubberized while it's upside down, then flip it and weld it. Or I may have to weld it and flip it and rubberize the bottom. I don't know, we'll figure that out. But so far so good. very happy with the both the wire and the paint stripper discs. They've done a really good job. So again, a little bit of places that I need to get in there, probably another 2 hours or so. Just this is where it gets in small spaces, and it's just you got to be very, very patient. So anyway, with that, we'll close this episode, and we'll be back finishing this up, and then hopefully getting the rubberized paint on and starting to weld. So we'll until next time.